Apartment buildings in Greece have areas and facilities used in common by all residents. These areas and facilities include the front yard, the backyard, the building's entrance or lobby, the stairwells between floors, the parking lot, electricity and water systems, the exterior walls, the elevator, etc. The building administrator is responsible for the maintenance and repair of all the apartment building's common areas and facilities. He or she is usually a homeowner elected to the position by majority vote of the owners of the building's individual units. An administrator's term of office often lasts 1 year. The election takes place according to the Homeowners Affairs Regulation. However, homeowners also commonly outsource building administration to another entity. As part of his duties, the administrator collects the homeowner's contributions to a common fund, which pays the expenses necessary for the operation and maintenance of the building. Even though the administrator usually has the majority acceptance of the homeowners and acts on all building unit owners' behalf, he must be held accountable for his actions. He is required to report all activities and expenses to the Homeowners Association at the end of his term, unless otherwise provided by the Homeowners Affairs Regulation. This accounting refers to the administrator's obligation to provide a written report tallying his administrative actions. The report must include a list of the actions, the specific time each action was carried out, a balance sheet showing income and expenses in detail, and the supporting documents. During his tenure, the administrator is required to provide information to the Homeowners Association regarding receipts and payments. However, the obligation to provide a written balance sheet and supporting documentation to the Homeowners Association occurs only at the end of his tenure, when he will be held accountable, no sooner. That said, the administrator's reporting obligations are twofold. First, he must provide during his tenure general information to account for all receipts and payments and the actions taken. Second, he must provide at the end of his tenure a written balance sheet listing all receipts and expenses, the amount remaining in the common fund, and a written account of all bills and payments. It must be emphasized, the administrator is a trustee representing all the building's homeowners, not each homeowner separately. To that end, his accounting and informational obligations apply only toward the Homeowners Association, not toward each homeowner individually. If the administrator breaches his obligation to provide information during his term, he is required to compensate the homeowners for all damages to their properties caused by his behavior, according to Article 714 of the Greek Civil Code. If, at the end of his tenure, the administrator refuses to report to the Homeowners Association, or if the account he gives isn't complete as required by law, then his obligation to provide full accounting for activities and expenses is not fulfilled. In that case, the Homeowners Association, and not each homeowner individually, has the right to file a lawsuit against him. The court will then force the administrator to provide a thorough and accurate accounting within a certain time frame under threat of fine and detention. Homeowners often refuse to pay the charges common to the building because the administrator does not show them the utility bills and the corresponding receipts for payment. Greek courts have ruled that in such cases, homeowners do not have the right to refuse to pay the communal charges. If there are indications of mismanagement or even embezzlement of money from the common fund, homeowners may request an urgent meeting of the Homeowners Association. The administrator will then be required to provide to the Homeowners Association the necessary information regarding management of the building. There is no doubt that an administrator is necessary for the proper operation and maintenance of an apartment building. However, for transparent management of the common fund, it would be more appropriate for the administrator to show all utility bills and receipts for payment to the homeowners individually during his tenure, and not just to the Homeowners Association at the end of his tenure. This can be done by posting the necessary documents on the building's bulletin board. Doing this may avoid friction between the administrator and the homeowners. The administrator will preserve his reliability and will be able to carry out his duties without interference. Rosu & Associates Law Firm has assisted businesses and individuals in buying and managing property since 2005. Solving issues between homeowners is one of our main fields of expertise. Should you wish to buy, sell, or manage property in the wider area of Thessaloniki, Chalkidiki, or Athens, we would be glad to assist. Thanks for watching.